shit. We back at it again, Guardians. Let's do this. Back on our raw shit. Alright. Just so, because I know you want to actually see my beautiful face I have right here. Welcome to the Guardian Talk Radio. Now, I'm pretty sure you're kind of wondering what the hell I got going on this evening. It's actually been I haven't done anything all week this week, I don't think. Yeah, so we're going to have to really up these numbers here just a little bit. However, I do have maybe a little way that I can get some more people up in here. So, tonight we are going to be talking about some hot takes, and we did a little test run at one point, and it turned out okay, but I did make a little bit of changes because I didn't like how it was set up. So this is how I'm going to present it. This is something new, and I actually plan on doing this more often. I was going to do it just like every Friday, but to be honest, the video clip that I took, that's got it's just loaded with shit. It may take more than just one. So hang on a second. I think I'm hearing my damn voice. Okay. I knew I was hearing something. That was crazy. Okay. Yeah, we got, okay. So anyways, the idea behind all this is so that way we can actually have discussions, and it's no more of this, oh, well, you can leave a comment. No, this is how I'm going to leave my comments for y'all. Now, that being said, this is not to antagonize or to belittle anybody. That's not the case at all. So this is going to be at least part one, if it turns out to be longer than I expected. And I will be recording this, so you're going to get the best of two worlds. All right. Either one, you can watch the video, which I'll make like my hot take series, which will have its own category, so that way you can find it a lot easier and not have to worry about it so much. And basically, you can either watch it live right now, like how we're doing it right now, or we could do it, or you could just watch my shorter versions. And so I'm going to be kind of burning a candle at both ends, basically, is what it's going to turn out to be. So that being said, I'm going to go to my hot takes section right here. Hopefully it don't screw up. Don't screw up. Okay, you're behaving so far. Now the music, you probably can't hear, I don't know. But we are going to pause the music right quick, just in case, because I have to set this up really weird. In order for me to be able to hear the clip, I have to do some weird shit, so. So, now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of how this is going to work. Basically, I have, like I did in my last one, in my Fanboys one, there was where I basically just took a video and you're just getting the audio version, but I do leave a link to that specific video if you want to watch it with all in its entirety and not with me talking and interrupting so much. So, but I think this is gonna work out pretty good. So, and like I said, this is not to belittle anybody or anything like that. This is all in good fun, and hopefully, maybe we can actually have some real conversations in the future. So, my first, well, technically second. This guy is, oh, let's see. He's got a really weird name. It's crazy. Let's see. I can actually look it up real quick. It's like Pliny the Welder. I believe that's what it's called, Pliny the Welder. And well, I leave his name in the description, so you'll be able to check him out too. So, okay. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my recording thing, and so that I can edit it later, which is really not going to be a whole lot of editing unless if I just like have a lot of duh moments, because I'm doing this raw. I'm not doing this with scripts or anything. Like, I'm doing this all completely on the fly. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and start the recording now. Hello and welcome to the Guardian Talk Radio. This is a video I'm making. This is pretty much going to be my very first. Basically, I guess you could call it a response, but it's not really a response because like nobody's talking to me directly. So this is more of like a reaction, but it's not really a reaction because I've already seen it. So I don't know how to really describe it. It's basically, I guess you could call it as my comment section, my personal comment section. I make a video out of it. So, but the guy that I'm going to be I guess not really having a back and forth, but he'll make his statements. I'll butt in, say some things. This could be part one, and there could be more because it's like 18 minutes, and which is all audio form. And if you want to find his video specifically without me interrupting or anything, you want to get all of the context, then I have a link in the description for this, which I will also, well, I have it in the stream, and you can always catch me at the stream. And we'll do this every once in a while, probably once a week. I don't know how often I'm going to do this. So figure I'd just try it out, see what happens. Why not? So, all right. And like I said, I'm just going to call him Welder because it makes sense. The Pliny, I think it's Pliny is what okay, I'll just call him Pliny. Screw it. So I'm gonna go ahead and let him discuss, and whenever I decide that I want to butt in, I will.
Today, we're going to talk about Destiny 2's brave new world of even more terrible monetization. The fact is, the game has never been smaller or a worse value, and it's at this very moment that Bungie has decided they think it's cool to sell a dungeon, a few armor sets, and a couple of exotics for $20. This time...
Okay, so just to give some context of when this was done. This was actually done a few months ago, and it was, I believe it was before, yeah, I would say it would have to be during the season of Splicer, I believe. And it was before we even had the whole, the 30th anniversary that Bungie did. Which, in order to play the game or to be able to participate in the dungeon, you had to pay for it. Which there was a lot more involved. I feel he's going to explain it for me, but I feel like it's kind of downplaying, like, oh, we only got this much, but they priced it at this high. But there's going to be a whole slew of talking points that he's going to go over that I hear all the time, and I actually want to have this conversation and actually put in my 2 cents. So I'll let him continue.
The backlash is warranted. I've played Destiny since the beta of D1. I've been with the game through every disaster and controversy, and through most of that, I have usually been the one who's been pretty forgiving of the game. Destiny 2 has slowly pushed the boundaries on its pricing model. The off-year expansions have gotten simultaneously smaller and more expensive. The Taken King and Forsaken were the only 2 expansions in the game's history that felt like they truly provided excess value, while the value that was provided by Rise of Iron was more than that of Shadowkeep, which was actually more than that of Beyond Light. While this has happened, Bungie has explained that it's simply not able to produce DLCs like Forsaken or the Taken King ever again, and we should expect expansions to be smaller as more developer time is spent producing seasonal content.
Okay, so just in order to get a better understanding about all this, okay, we understand that Beyond Light was very shallow, so shallow, and it was at the same price as what I would assume Forsaken was, but the way I seen it, it was worth investing because I felt like, for me personally, and for anybody, like, I don't speak for nobody, so this is all just based on my opinion. Beyond Light was basically like the reset button for Bungie after the separation between Bungie and Activision. So, yeah, I mean, you got a point, but, and right now, currently, I know this is not fair, but I'm going to have a point for it. We're currently like in Witch Queen, and a lot of his statements are not going to be what is current now. So, but I'm going to have a point to that whenever he gets to it. So let's continue.
That the game never again suffers from a content drought like the one that existed between the Taken King and Rise of Iron, which was a full year of almost nothing aside from the Sparrow Racing League and the occasional barely there holiday event. Before I go further into this, I do want to make it clear that I actually think Bungie deserves credit for the seasonal model. No matter each individual season's flaws, there is at least a steady stream of stuff to do in Destiny 2. Now, often that thing is something stupid, like Seraph Towers, but even Seraph Towers are better than the year of nothing that happened after the Taken King.
Which we're not really seeing much of that anymore. Like Seraph Towers, those public events that we see on various different planets. You know, we don't see that, but those were actually kind of fun. I enjoyed them. Like, they were really nice to mess around with, you know, get loot, just kind of keep you busy.
There are 3 big problems with Destiny 2 right now as far as I'm concerned, and all of them boil down to being an issue of value. Let's start with the biggest one. The content vault is inexcusable.
Oh, this one always comes up. It's always like the content vault, to the content vault or the Eververse, which he will be discussing here after a while, and I will have a point with that as well. So the content vault, basically, and he's going to explain it himself as well, they basically take old content, old planets or whatever, and they throw it in the vault so that they can give it back to us. But let him continue, and I will also have something to say.
I started playing World of Warcraft very soon after it launched. Aside from Half-Life, GTA Vice City, and the first Call of Duty, it was basically the only game I played from like 1994 through the Warlords of Draenor expansion. We had very little money back then, and I had a PC that could barely run anything at all. Still, WoW, I could run. WoW, like Destiny, had a committed group of players that alternated their time between playing the game and complaining about all the stuff in the game that pissed them off. Still, it managed to keep millions of people playing for years and years on the strength of its expansions and the truly massive amount of content that existed in the game. I eventually stopped playing mainly because I found that the tab targeting combat just wasn't that engaging anymore. And when we were finally secure enough that I could buy a used Xbox 360 in 2013, I stopped playing and have not been back since. All that time, there were people like me who loved an ever-expanding, always online world, but wanted it married to something that had far more engaging combat. When Destiny was announced, it was like a game that had been designed to be exactly what I had always wanted. So I started playing right when the beta was available on the...
Okay, so we're just going to cut in for this. It sounds like to me that's a lot of people that make this argument. It's always, I want Destiny to be like WoW. I want Destiny to be like this game. And it's like, why can't we just let Destiny be Destiny? Let it set itself apart instead of trying to mimic some other game. I mean, that's my point.
Xbox 360. Destiny, despite all the mealy-mouthed talk about a shared space shooter, was clearly designed as an MMO. It always drove me crazy when people would respond to valid criticisms by saying, Destiny isn't an MMO. Yeah, but it is, and it always has been.
I find it kind of funny when it comes to this kind of argument because it's like, yeah, Destiny is an MMO. What does MMO stand for? Massive multiplayer online. That's what it is, obviously, by definition. But anytime that you put MMO, MMORPG, MMORPG adventure, or whatever it is that they decide that they want to put on there, they compare it to every other single MMORPGs. Like, it's got to be like exactly the same, which really doesn't make any sense to me. But continue. Oh, hang on. Lost my...
I am so glad they finally admitted that, but from the very start, this game was marketed as an MMO. This led most players to assume there would be an ever-expanding world. So when Destiny 2 was announced as a full sequel, there was quite a bit of pushback. I was willing to give Bungie a pass on this one, because by the time D2 was released, Destiny was already looking somewhat old and outdated, and definitely was held back by the Xbox 360 and PS3. Destiny 2, however, remains one of the best looking games around, and runs on PC and the current generation of hardware exceptionally well.
Yes.
There is no real need for Destiny 3, unless there was going to be a fundamental redesign of how maps are built or how enemies and encounters are designed, and that's not going to happen. Okay. So this is the opportunity to truly build Destiny into the World of Warcraft replacement many of us have wanted from the start. And make no mistake, Destiny is filled to the brim with people like me.
Yes,
Next time you're in a raid, ask around and you'll find a significant portion of the player base is lapsed WoW or Guild Wars players.
That is true. I mean, you're going to find a lot of people like that, but, you know, it's almost like whenever people try to, you know, compare Destiny 2 to Final Fantasy 14. It's like, those are two completely different games. Just because it's an MMO, I mean, basically, by definition, that's what it is. So, but I just love how a lot of people just like, well, I come from playing WoW and I want Destiny to be more like WoW. And it's like, really though? Why can't Destiny just be Destiny, like I said? Continue.
WoW did a ton of things right, but if there's one core thing about the game, it's existing in a huge world and giving reasons for that world to exist. As a max level player, you may not have a reason to visit the low level areas that often, but you do need the crafting materials that are there. You can buy them from players who are leveling, or you can go there yourself. Or you can run old raids solo to get armor sets or weapons for transmog. Or you can farm ultra rare mounts. Or you can roll a new character and play those old areas and storylines again. Lastly, even if you rarely ever have a reason to go to Duskwood or
You know, I'm going to have to say this part. When it comes, like I said, this is not really fair to compare, but it's that mindset, you know? And I think it needs to be pointed out that before, you know, like right now we're in Witch Queen, and now you can actually go back and replay the campaign on normal, or you could do it the legendary version. So I think you're kind of getting a little bit of what he's saying now. But a lot of that other stuff, I just don't see how it fits. But we do have transmog, and it's really not that bad. But we'll continue.
Stranglehorn Vale, the fact that it exists makes you feel like you're existing in a larger world that goes on outside of you. Destiny has always struggled with this aspect of the MMO experience because its open world map design is more akin to an interconnected set of linear FPS levels. When you combine this with the fact that planetary materials have always been totally pointless, and there being no kind of player-driven economy or really crafting system. We'll see what happens now, but I sincerely doubt it's going to be a deep crafting system.
Well, right now, as of right now, with the Witch Queen, the crafting system, English is hard. Crafting system is a little, so it is kind of rough at right now, but I think it could be better. And hopefully, Bungie will be able to make it better. And like I said, this was like 4 months ago that this video was uploaded, so but I think it still stands for everything that he's speaking on and is about to speak on. So I think it's still relevant.
You're left with a world that's kind of lifeless outside of the playlists. The patrol maps do work pretty well as gameplay levels, despite them being so easy it's stupid, but they don't serve any wider purpose. This has led Bungie to believe that they have no value at all, and that is where they are wrong. I don't care about the shifting reasons Bungie has given for why huge swaths of the game I've bought are disappearing in a way that no other game in history has ever attempted. At first, they said it was an effort to save hard drive space.
Okay, so we're on the discussion of Content Vault. Basically, they take away what you paid for. Well, so far they've taken 2 expansions, pretty much. Or no, they took all the first 3. So Red War, Curse of Osiris, and Warmind. All of those are gone. And then drop that Witch Queen. Then Forsaken's gone. Which, yeah, I feel like, okay, well, I played through it. I got the experience. It wasn't really something I was going to go back the way it's designed, which, you know, like the way Witch Queen is. Now, if Forsaken was designed the same way as Witch Queen, which is kind of backpedaling a little bit here, it served its purpose. It's been around for a couple years or a few years whenever Forsaken actually dropped, and all the other old expansions, those been around. Now, the argument I could see is, okay, well, you know, newer players will not get to experience that, but who are we trying to build Destiny for? A bunch of just new players, or are we trying to build the game to be for just about anybody and everybody? Try to get that equilibrium, you know, that balance. Continue.
But that is ridiculous, as Destiny isn't close to being the largest game around. The latest COD is like
Very
70
close.
gigabytes larger than Destiny 2 has ever been, and I certainly don't give a shit if it's hard for them to chase down bugs. Destiny 2 is, for all intents and purposes, a subscription-based MMO. It sells yearly expansions, quarterly seasons, and has a huge microtransaction store. Year 5 of Destiny 2, if you want to play everything that comes out, will cost a...
Whoa. Okay, yes. He's going to get on to that subject, the Eververse, here pretty quick. It's really not that big. Bro, like seriously, it's not. It's probably one of the best microtransaction stores you could ever come up with. Like, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think it is one of the best. Just for the fact that it's like, come on. This is ridiculous. I mean, okay, you would have a point if they had what they have right now and loot boxes. Could you imagine what it would be like if they had loot boxes? Which I am so glad that they don't. Like, majority of the games do. And probably a lot of the games that you have talked about have those loot boxes that you pay for and all that crap. But we'll get to the main juice in the middle here pretty soon. But I just figure I'd start off with that.
Full $100. This on top of Eververse, where a huge portion of all new content sits. I don't even care about charging for things like exotic ornaments, but it fundamentally hurts the game when the answer to, holy crap, where did you get that cool emote, is always, oh, I bought it in the store.
Not always. Come on. Don't be fibbing like that, bro. Don't be fibbing. Okay, listen. All right. You know just as good as I do that majority of those items, either in pieces like the armor pieces, you can literally get out of the Eververse store using in-game currency. Bright test. You know you can. And people try to skim over that part real quick just to try to make a mountain out of an anthill, basically. It's like, bro, come on. You know you can get most of those things using your bright dust. Yeah, it comes from the Eververse, technically. Yes, that's where all of them come from. But you're not sitting here trying to be like, everybody had to pay for it, for all your stuff. And you get the bright engrams too. That could drop you at random. That's just RNG. Just how it works. Either it's more of setup as, if you want it now, you pay for it. If you can wait, you can wait till it comes in rotation. And it happens. Just about everything in the store goes in rotation that you can use in-game currency.
People didn't play older strikes, campaigns, and patrols that much because there's simply no reward for doing so. Meanwhile, over in Warcraft, I promise you that at this very moment, hundreds, if not thousands of people are grinding through old content for rare mounts and armor sets at this very second. I haven't made this video.
Well, then go play Warcraft. I mean, just saying. Like, just because Destiny is not Warcraft, I mean, or Warframe or WoW or whatever, doesn't mean come on. Like, please.
Video before because it felt like beating a dead horse, but we're now about to lose the best campaign in Destiny 2, and for what? What tangible benefit does the paying customer get from this?
You'll find out. Well, this is talking to your past self. You already figured it out by now.
A slightly reduced file size? I'm good, dude. I've got like 8 terabytes of SSD storage on my...
Good for you. So my point of all of this is, even if they never vaulted anything, I have asked this question. Let's say you were able to have everything, and think of Witch Queen right now. Everything from right now and past. If you're able to keep everything, that's going to be huge, bro. That's going to be huge. That's what she said. But at the same time, no. And it's like most of that stuff probably wasn't getting hardly any interaction. And I think he's going to make a point. If not, I'll go back to it. But let's go.
Machine. I can spare the space. If the issue is console storage space, check it out. How about a far better solution like allowing separate installs? COD allows you to install the campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone, or one of them, or all of them. If it
yes, Bungie, do what everybody else does. Why not?
Really is because it's too hard to squash bugs and older content, then try harder. Because
Yeah, Bungie, try harder. Yeah, because I'm a gaming developer and I know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, Jesus Christ. If I had somebody talking like this to me while where I work at, oh, ooh, I would not be a happy camper.
removing literally hundreds of dollars of stuff we bought is terrible. No
Okay, so here we go. He's going to make this big old ordeal about how they have vaulted all of our content that we bought and paid for. Heard this comment so many times. And let me break it down for you. So, yes, all the expansions that nobody plays anymore or was ever even really playing anymore, it was really there for like new players that were coming in. And now they're trying to like make the game a little more accessible for newcomers. However, you didn't pay for Mars. You didn't pay for Mercury. You did not pay for any of the planets that were vaulted. And here's my proven point. When Beyond Light dropped, you got Europa, right? You paid for the expansion, but you did not pay for that planet. Hence, the reason that I know this is because you go, if you're a free to play player and you don't spend a freaking dime, you're like just a new light. Like going in on an account, you can still access all of those things. You can still access Europa without even buying Beyond Light. And you can also access right now with Savathun's Throne World after you go through the story mode type stuff. Once you, because you got to do all that first just to gain access. It's kind of like how they did with the Dreaming City. So that being said, you did not pay for your for any of the planets. So yes, I can see your points when it comes to the content itself, that it's no longer for you, like you can't access it anymore. But you didn't pay for the planets. But we're going to try to make this big ordeal to make a point, I guess. Continue.
matter how you slice it, there is no defense of it, man. Destiny should have been focusing on how to make this old stuff relevant. Things like having the new Eververse stuff bought in the microtransaction store only after you find it in the game. Imagine if every one of those weapon ornaments was a world drop.
What? That? Huh? Like, what? So everything in the Eververse, you cannot obtain in the Eververse unless if you've already received it in a world drop? What? Why would you do that? That makes no sense. I may be misunderstanding you. That I got a feeling that's what it is. But yeah, that don't make no sense. I get this emote that will drop in one of the dungeons, and now I can go buy it in the Eververse. Huh? That I don't know. Continue.
That you had to get. And then you can unlock it in the microtransaction store. That's how you drive people into the open world, or older strikes, or older raids. Instead, come December, we will have lost 5 full campaigns, at least 5 raids, several dungeons, 6 entire...
Okay, hang on. 5 full expansions. Red War? Curse of Osiris? Warmind? Forsaken? I know it's just nitpicking, but that's only 4. Yeah. We still have Shadowkeep, I believe. Right? Do we still have Shadowkeep? Yeah, we still got Shadowkeep. So, And the raids, the Leviathan, so those three, Scourge of the Pass, but those have been gone for a while. That raid has been gone for a while. I actually missed that raid. And I think it's only 4, but I'm splitting hairs at this point. So, but, you know, it is what it is.
Patrol zones, a ton of strikes, a ton of PvP maps, and several Gambit maps. It contributes to why the game is starting to feel unbearably small and boring to me. Grinding.
Like I said, this was before Witch Queen. And I think it was still in the watching the gameplay they had in the background. It looked like it was during the season of the Splicer. So to kind of give you a good timeline of when this was. But a lot of his, like I said, a lot of the talking points he makes, I've heard it time and again. So let's go. We got like 9 minutes. We might be able to pull it off, guys.
The same low-effort seasonal activity and the same 1 raid and 2 dungeons over and over feels like crap. It also makes the game a worse value every single year because the content drops have never come close to replacing what is lost. Beyond Light is objectively less content than most of Launch D2 and all of the first-year DLC.
Okay, so we're almost coming up on 30 minutes. So I think I'm going to cut it here. We're going to stop it here. I'll keep the timing and we'll have a part 2 so I can do this up in 2 videos. So if you are watching this and you would like to actually be a part of this live, I will be doing more of these later in the future. I don't know how many or how often. It just really depends on how many people I want to discuss these topics with. But I do appreciate you being here, and until I see you again, Guardians, you stay classy. All right, so that is the end. That was pretty close to 30 minutes. So that's a good idea I came up with. So do a small clip. I know it's not like the method is not new, but it made sense to me once I got that figured out. I can actually just go ahead and edit the video in any way that I need to, and I can upload it later and try to get some butts in the seats. Let's go. So I will actually go ahead and swap over to this. Actually, you know what? I think we should go ahead. I'll go ahead and open it up. So give me just a second. Okay. So you go hot. Well, okay, I'm having to do this one-handed, so I do apologize. Hot takes. Okay, yes. Hot takes. We'll just start the stage. So if this is your first time here, basically this is how we do call-ins, baby. This is how we do it. All right. So basically you can actually, go ahead and join my Discord, which the link is in the description. So you can join in, hop in. And I do have a leveling system to try to keep people from just like popping in, doing, trying to start shit and then bouncing. But it's all completely free. I want to make this whole experience for you free. That's the best part about all this. So I will have this open, and if anybody decides they want to hop into my Discord and they want to have a discussion with me about any of the things that we just discussed, you're more than welcome to. But for now, we'll go back to this. So basically my idea worked out I think it worked out pretty good. We're going to see how well it does. And if it turns out pretty good, I'm going to be freaking stoked. And literally it hit me like a freaking ton of bricks when I finally figured out that missing puzzle piece that I've been needing in order to try to, get out there a little bit, Not nobody knows that this is going on here. And I think it could be so much fun. The show really comes alive when people interact. So whenever you're watching live, you can actually chat in the live chat. You can discuss with me within our Discord, all that good stuff. I want to try to make this as interactive as possible. And at the same time, no cost to you in order to access these things. You don't have to pay me a membership, or you have to pay me $1 or some shit just so you can have your give your point of view, or your 2 cents, 2 glimmers, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to do all that. So that's the reason why I started this. It's more for the people, so that way we can actually have discussions, and we could possibly even have debates. Who knows? I mean, I can make anything happen, really. Almost. Now, I'm not doing OnlyFans. I'm sorry. That's not really my cup of tea. But I think this will suffice. The better, hopefully later on in the future, I would actually be able to, I could try to get out there to start doing the streams a little sooner, so we can have longer streams, and especially when the call-ins start really hyping up, hopefully one day. And but I know this is going to be a slow process. So if you're coming across this, or even one of my videos you decide to watch, which that is going to be my main content for right now, for later on down the road, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how often it's going to be. If it's just going to be once a week, every day. I mean, tonight we're going to do this, and then next week, Monday, I can actually do it again. I just want to check something real quick. I should probably write that number down. Okay, let me just jot a note here on my phone so that I got the timing and we can start literally right from here. So 9 minutes and 55 seconds into the video, and it took us 30 minutes to get through that. just to let everybody know. So it takes a minute. Excuse me. So I'm going to put 9.55. Is that what it is? Yeah, 55. Okay. 9:55 into the video. So I can have that, save it. It is now saved, and we can literally start off Monday. I will do the part 2 to that video, and then if there's others out there that I come across. You see, the idea is I don't want to go like way back, because that's not fair. If I pick up hot takes that are like 4 years old, that's not fair, because nobody could have really made predictions or anything like that. I mean, they still try, to be honest. Some content creators or streamers, they make assumptions that, oh, well, Destiny 2 sucks because of these reasons and it ain't going to get nowhere. And that was like 6 years ago. It's like, bro, where are you at? You even know what the hell you're talking about. But so I'm going to try to keep it as current as possible. But a lot of the takes that he was talking about, which is really just copy and paste to what like I've seen before, especially from like bigger content creators and streamers, have said the same thing. They always complain about, or some always complain about, the Eververse, which is nothing. I mean, you don't have to spend a dime in there. The best parts are actually coming up in the second video. So come Monday, I will do that. We'll do the same thing. I'll start the stream and I'll just try to get right to it, try to get it done and get it on its way so that I can have it saved and I can go ahead and get it edited, after the stream and then pushed out. So I do apologize if you get noticed for both of that, but hey, and you have the option to, watch those shorter videos. I would appreciate it if you do. The more that you interact with the channel, the more people it's going to pull in. But I'm not leaving it up to just you guys to do all that. I know most of the work falls upon me. So I'm going to find other ways kind of in the back end to try to bring new people in, but not the typical sleazy way that you like to see sometimes, I guess. So basically this is just the start, guys. That's basically what it is. So if you guys have any point of view, feel free to go ahead and chat it in the live chat. I'll interact with you. It don't matter. Don't worry, I ain't gonna bite you. But like I said, if I have somebody that would come in and, especially in my Discord and people can have a conversation with me, the show really does come alive. And talking to myself is still kind of weird. So, but it's something that I'm kind of trying to get used to. So, but I think it really helps when I have like something to comment against. And I'm doing it all just raw, no scripts, no nothing, and seeing how well I do. And hopefully I'll get better at it. So, let's see. Where we at? We had an hour and 36 minutes, but we have to tack on like I'd say 30 minutes or so, 40 minutes. So we're almost coming up to like maybe 50 minutes, something like that. Anywho, I think we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and shut it down for the night. But this was actually a lot of fun. And we'll go ahead and end this. Boop. Later. So I'm going to shut that down. And we'll be having another show Monday to continue. And I will be uploading my video. I'm thinking about doing a little something with Facebook as well. I've been kind of thinking, do I want to do a page? Do I want to do a group? Might start off with a page. Might do both. Who knows? I think I would probably might work out better if I do like a page for like using like for me personally, and then maybe a group thing for the Guardian Talk Radio. Who knows? But anyways, those of you that are here, thank you. I do appreciate you being here from the bottom of my heart. You have no idea how important that is to me. And until I see you Guardians again, you stay classy.